friends, welcome to the Prelims Power Play discussion. Today we will discuss top 5 current affairs question on 12th of October. Guys, the first question which I have framed is on this year's Nobel Prize on Economics. Guys, you must have followed the current affairs that this year's Nobel Prize for Economics has been given on research on banking and financial crisis. The first question I have framed on this topic. So let us read the question. Large group of depositors withdraw their money from banks simultaneously based on the fears that the institution will become insolvent. Which of the following terms below best describe the given statement? Guys, basically the question says that because some rumor that bank is going to fail, all the depositors simultaneously they go and they withdraw the money from the bank. So what is this situation called? This situation is called what? This situation is called bank run. So let me see how many of you have got the right answer. Please comment in the comment box. So this situation is called bank run. Bank run is a situation which basically is about when there are rumors that some bank is going to become insolvent and the depositors they rush to the bank to withdraw money. So this is a very typical situation in the banking industry, which basically all the regulators have to be very wary of. So in this regard, I can tell you next year, for the coming prelims examination, let me predict that I can tell you many questions related to banking crisis will come. Many questions related to banks will also come. Banks, banking crisis, how banks operate, what are the assets of bank, what are the liabilities of banks. So UPSC generally ask a lot of questions on banks. So anyone who is preparing for next year's prelims, please prepare the banking chapter or the monetary policy properly. This is a very, very, very important topic for next year prelims exam. Even there are some more questions which can be framed on this year's economic Nobel Prize, basically on Great Depression. The question can be based on Great Depression, and question can be based on monetary policy also, and the Keynesian economics also. So you can read all these topics. These topics are very important for next year. So let us go to the next question. So basically bank run is a situation where all the clients they go and they withdraw money from the bank, and obviously the bank will not be able to pay the money, and that situation is called the bank run. So let us go to the second question. The second question I have framed on the news item that recently an expert appraisal committee of Indian Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has recommended to grant environment and coastal clearance to big projects and tourism projects of Great Nicobar zone, Great Nicobar Island. So in this context I have framed a map based question. Guys, already UPSC has asked one question from this region, from the Andaman and Nicobar Island. So let us see the question, what kind of questions I have framed, and then I'll tell you what other questions can be framed on the same news item, guys. So which of the following in the Indian Ocean separates Great Nicobar Islands and the province of Indonesia So the answer is what? Is it 10-degree channel? Is it 8-degree channel? Is it 6-degree channel? What is the answer? So the answer is what? Can anyone tell me what is the answer? The answer is the answer is 6-degree channel. The answer is 6-degree channel. So I'm giving you an assignment. Please locate in the map 10-degree channel, and please locate in the map 8-degree channel. The two major islands of Andaman and Nicobar Islands are divided by which channel? 10-degree channel or 8-degree channel? Please tell me the answer in the comment box. Let me see how many of you are able to answer it correctly. So the answer for this question, that what separates the Great Nicobar Islands and the province of Indonesia, the answer is 6-degree channel. You can answer this through logic also, because you must, if you know the 10-degree channel and 8-degree channel, you can clearly answer that this is nothing but the 6-degree channel. But obviously this is a map based question, and if you have not observed the map properly, you will face difficulty. So I would like to request every one of you to please go through the map of this Andaman and Nicobar Island. Let me just show you. So you can see here. This is the Duncan Passage. Okay, which basically separates the Middle Andaman and the Little Andaman. So this Duncan Passage is very important. Then there is a 10-degree channel. The 10-degree channel basically separates what? Andaman and Nicobar Islands. 10-degree channel. Okay, this is very important. Okay, this is very important, guys. Okay, next you can see here we have Great Channel or 6-degree channel. The Great Channel or 6-degree channel basically separates Great Nicobar and Indonesia. Guys. So this is very important. This can come in the prelims examination next year. They can also ask you to arrange north to south. All these north to south. So many types of map based questions can be basically asked. They can also ask you to pair. Okay, 10-degree channel, okay, separates which two islands. 8-degree channel separates which two islands. 6-degree channel separates which two islands. So they can ask you to match the pairs also. Okay, so many types of questions can be framed on this topic. Also questions can be asked from this topic. Okay, questions can also be asked, okay, on environment section, because there are very important biosphere reserves, there are very important national parks and wildlife species also which are situated in Great Nicobar Island and Andaman Nicobar Islands. So please prepare this topic, okay, very holistically. This is a topic which can come both in the prelims examination and also it can come in the mains examination also. Okay, development of island, topic as a development of island, particularly people from geography optional, they should prepare this topic holistically. Okay, let's go to the next question, guys. This question I have selected as a PYQ. Every year every day, I'll be picking up, okay, some PYQ which is based on the current affairs. So which of the following is closest to Great Nicobar? So the answer to this question will be what? Okay, I'm giving you, okay, 10 seconds. Let me see how many of you are able to answer this. The answer to this question is Sumatra. You can see here. You can see the map here. Guys. You can see the map here. Okay, you can see here the map. Okay, so this is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and we see here. Okay, we see here Sumatra. Okay, we see Java here. And we see Sri Lanka here. So obviously this answer is Sumatra. Anyways, in the previous question also we have seen how the 6-degree channel basically divides the Great Nicobar Island and the Indonesia. Okay, so both of the questions are linked to each other. So there is a high probability they can ask you 6-degree channel. Okay, because both of them have the same kind of, okay, content. Okay, next let us see next question. So next question which I have framed is on the topic of UNSC reform. Guys, you must have followed the newspaper that recently this UN reforms, particularly United Nations Security Council reforms, are in news. Recently our external affairs minister Mr. Jayashankar has raised this issue of UNSC reform. See, every year in the month of September, when all the UN members meet at the United Nations head office, okay, there every country, okay, basically they put forward their points, and India has again, okay, asked for UNSC reforms, okay, expansion of the P5. So in this context, I have framed a very interesting question, very conceptual question on UNSC reform. Okay, I have covered this in the prelims DPN also. Please go through it, it's very important. Okay, so let us read the question. Consider the following regarding United Nations Security Council. Okay, so UNSC reform, okay, requires an amendment to the Charter of United Nations. Okay, how many of you think this is correct? Think this is correct? Okay, UNSC reforms requires amendment to the Charter of the United Nations. So this is correct statement. Okay, to reform UNSC, you need to amend the, okay, United Nations Charter. Okay, that is why you see here the External Affairs Minister says that it is a hard nut to crack. UNSC reform is a hard nut to crack, but it is not impossible. Okay, because it will become very clear why it is hard nut to crack by the second statement. We read the second statement. UN General Assembly, which is also called UNGA, must approve the reform by simple majority. Okay, by simple majority. Guys, if it is a hard nut to crack, obviously this is not going to be what? This is not going to be a simple majority. So this is incorrect statement. Generally when I have observed, whenever they will add some qualification, like, okay, so UN General Assembly has to approve the UN Charter, okay, but it has to approve not by simple majority but by a special majority of 2/3 members. So this statement is incorrect. Third statement says that UNSC reforms must be approved by all existing permanent members. So this is obviously correct. That's the reason, okay, we need all the P5 members to agree to our candidature. Then only we will be added into the P5, like in the expanded P5 membership. Okay, and obviously you know that China obviously will not support India in the expansion of the P5. Okay, so in this regard, okay, this statement obviously logically also this statement is true. Logically also this statement is true. So the answer to this question will be what? Okay, 1 and 2, 1 and 3. Okay, 1 and 3. The answer will be 1 and 2, 3. Second statement is incorrect because second statement, okay, it is not the simple majority, it is basically special majority. So 1 and 3 are correct. So answer will be C. Okay, answer will be C. Let us now move to, okay, let us now move to the next question, guys. So the last question I have framed on a very interesting topic. The last question I have framed on a very interesting topic, flex fuel engine. Guys, recently, okay, Toyota Motors, okay, Toyota Motors have introduced Corolla Altis, India's first flex fuel car, okay, to push for alternative fuels. Okay, guys, we all know that because of carbon emissions and because India is also a oil importing nation, so it is very important for us to reduce our oil consumptions. In this regard, okay, the transport ministry and various ministries have basically come forward to promote alternative fuels. So in this regard, I have framed this question. Let us read the question. Consider the following regarding the flex fuel engines. Okay, flex fuel engines, okay, they run only on biofuels, So here I would say that only statement is an extreme statement, so obviously this will be incorrect. Okay, and the word itself says flex fuel. Flex means flexible, this means, okay, it is not only biofuel but a mixture of diesel and, okay, diesel and ethanol or petrol and ethanol. Okay, so it can be either 100% diesel or it can run at any percent of combination mixture of diesel and ethanol. Okay, so the first statement is incorrect. Okay, obviously it is an extreme statement also, and even logic also says that, okay, only bioethanol, okay, it's an extreme statement to make. Okay, next, they will cut down India's oil import. Obviously when it is using bioethanol, and bioethanol we are basically producing in our own country, so this clearly will cut down, even if 10% or 20% also we are able to mix with petrol, we are able to cut down 20% our petrol or diesel consumption. So that will obviously will lead to reduction in the demand of crude in India. Okay, so imports will reduce. So the second statement is correct. Third, India is the first country to launch flex fuel engines in the world. Okay, obviously this is incorrect. Okay, India is not the first country. See, India is not the developed country, or in developed country already, like in America, like Brazil is also a leader in flex fuel engines because Brazil is one of the largest producer of bioethanol. Okay, bioethanol. So obviously this statement is incorrect. So okay, only statement 2 is correct. Okay, statement 1 and statement 3 is incorrect, and this is also an extreme statement. So generally these statements are also incorrect. It's last, first, generally. So let us read the question. How many of the statements are or is correct? So only one statement is correct. So answer is A. So guys, you have seen how we have tried to frame questions on current events, how we have tried to link current affairs with static previous year questions. If you are able to do like this regularly over a period of 1 year, guys, I can tell you, okay, UPSC prelims is not very tough exam to crack. Okay, thank you friends, bye bye, take care. Please like the video, please share the video with your friends. I will be covering 1 year's current affairs through this prelims power play, and this year, last year, I must tell you that, okay, last year many questions have come from the prelims power play. So this year also I am hoping many questions to come from prelims power play. So if you follow this prelims power play, you will be immensely benefited. Thank you friends, bye bye, take care.